Is a family business considered marital property or separate property? My name is Akiva Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan. And today we're continuing our video series designed to educate and inform the public. So please subscribe to our channel. A family business, particularly one that was started during the marriage, is going to be considered marital property for the purposes of dividing it in a divorce. There's no question about that. Sometimes there is a question about what that family business is worth and how much the buyout would be and who's buying out who, but there's no question that it's an asset that has to be divided. Now, what if it was started before the business? That becomes a little more of an analysis. We may want to look at a business that the person had before the marriage, see what the value was on the day of the marriage, and that's off the table. And the rest of it may be considered a family business. In other words, there might be a calculation that has to be done, but there's no question that in the context of the divorce, that business is going to have to be dealt with. There are different ways to evaluate a business, and there are different ways to evaluate one person's role in the business, whether or not they have a passive role or an active role. Sometimes you got two spouses, both are actively involved in the business. The husband's out in the field doing whatever, wife is taking care of the admin. So in that situation, do we divide it up? Well, wife can't function without the field guy can't function without the admin. So what do? Sometimes we just keep it in place. We give them each 50% of the shares, but we keep them in place doing their job. If they're at odds like this and they can't be in the same place without killing each other, then there's got to be an exit strategy. Then we determine the value and we sell the business to a third party, or we sell it to one of the spouses and there's a buyout that goes on. Every now and then you have a prenuptial agreement, and the prenuptial agreement talks about the business. A lot of times when men and women have a business before they get married, they will do a prenuptial agreement that says that in the event, God forbid, the marriage doesn't work out, the business belongs to this person. And every now and then a prenuptial agreement will solve your problem. In a lot of cases though, the business, even if it was, before the marriage existing, it may have ballooned into a bigger entity during the marriage. And so the prenup, may not have been a thing because, you tend to do a prenuptial agreement for something that's of value. If the business had very limited value, it might not have been the subject of a prenup. So whether or not that'll help you will be determined on a case-by-case basis. If you have any questions about your case, reach out. We'll be glad to help you out.
248-588-3333. 248